The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Join your host, who is a multiple #1 international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer. She's the founder of Genuinely-You and has 30 years experience of helping people step into their genuine, authentic power. And now, here is Gina Gardner, your host of Leadership for Life.
Hello there and welcome. It's been a bit of a rocky start to our show today. There's been some technical problems, but I think we're all set now. Embracing who you are physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually is vital if you are going to thrive. Today's show is all about navigating life with the power of your soul. I have an amazing guest for you, Nicola Farmer. We go back many years and have become great friends. And she is an amazing lady, and I'll tell you more about her later. But in the first part of the show, what I'd like to do is to explore with you how I believe it is possible to thrive, even today when things are so challenging. In fact, it's even more important when things are challenging that you give yourself the very best opportunity to thrive. As you listen to the news and you see what's going on around the world, it's so easy to get lost in the fear. And fear is one of those things that keeps us small and limited and feeling like a victim. I believe that there is a continuum, and at one end of the continuum is fear, and at the other end of the continuum is love. And I don't mean pink fluffy love. What I do mean is love and acceptance, and it has to start with you. If you think about yourself, you are your physical being, the mental you, the emotional you, and the spiritual you. So I want to take the first part of this show to start exploring that. And then after the break, Nicola's going to come on and we're going to explore particularly the spiritual side of things. But think about your physical being. Do you love who you are? Do you really appreciate and value what an amazing machine your body happens to be? Do you anesthetize yourself with food or alcohol, with watching TV, with sex, with shopping? Do you feed yourself well? You know, what's the fuel that you put in your car? You wouldn't put diesel in your car if your car was a petrol engine. And yet many people feed themselves food that's actually toxic to them. Ultimately, you are the designer of your own life. You choose whether you do something or not, how you approach something. Everything you do is a choice, and every choice has consequences. So are you making wise choices in terms of your physicality or not? Isn't it interesting that probably everybody who's an adult knows a carrot or celery is better for you than a donut or a bag of chips? But how often do we all choose the things that we know are actually not going to do as much good? Because in some way that's helping us feel that we have a connection with ourselves, or we're bored and we're trying to find something to do, or we're fed up. When in reality, going out for a brisk walk or going and doing something creative would be a much better antidote to that feeling of boredom or being fed up. You have one body and you need to look after it. And those of you that know my story will know I'm a wheelchair user. And so I really value the capacity of my body. You know, when I was in my teens, I had a much younger brother. Sadly, he's died now. But his nickname for me was not very flattering. It was Thunder Thighs. And I wasn't that big, but he used to call me Thunder Thighs. And I was very conscious of the fact that I believed I had heavy thighs. And so I would hide them and I would feel bad about them. It wasn't really until I was much older and started to use a wheelchair, that I realized that the functionality of my legs was so important. And actually, they connected my trunk to my knees. And without my thighs, well, I'd be lost. And as I regained some functionality, I started to appreciate the very things that I didn't like. Your body is precious. And if you truly love it unconditionally, then you will look after it. Because the more you look after it, the better it will work for you. And, we don't know how many years we've got on this earth, but you can avoid so many of the diseases of modern day. Diabetes type 2 is a perfect example, by looking after your body. But how you look after your mind is just as important. What are the thoughts that go around your head? 95% of your thoughts are habitual. Those who listen to the show will know I've said that so many times. But what's that incessant chatter that goes around in your head? Because no matter how unkind other people may be to you, the likelihood is the person who is the most unkind and most critical is you. What are the beliefs you have about yourself and the world? Because your beliefs will become your reality. So if you have limiting beliefs, then those are going to limit your capacity to thrive. And so it's really, really important that you actually think about those things. Most people don't give it a second thought. That life just goes on and they just allow it to go on. And those limiting beliefs that were installed often by a chance remark when they were young actually colour the whole of their lives. And we have beliefs about ourselves, our value, about money, about relationships, about pretty well everything. Very rarely do people look at those beliefs and actually ask the question, are these serving me? Do they empower me or do they make me small? Well, that's up to you. But then think about your emotions. And we talk about positive emotions and negative emotions, which I think is a bit misleading, really, because our emotions are there to inform us. And when we experience one of those negative emotions, fear, anxiety, jealousy, rage, anger, loneliness, those emotions are generally offering us a lesson because something's at variance with our set of values. Those of you that have an understanding of spiritual things may very well talk about emotions in terms of their vibration. And those negative emotions which make us feel bad are at a much lower vibration. Happiness, joyfulness, gratitude, all of those emotions have a high vibration and they make us feel better. And yet we place so many conditions, I'll be happy when. And there's this long list of things that have got to be in place to be happy. How many people do you know, yourself included, who fail to forgive something that's gone on maybe years before? And in doing so, hold on to the hurt. Not forgiving, it's like giving yourself the poison and expecting the other person to die. Ultimately, you have the opportunity to choose to take radical responsibility for your physical well-being, your mental and your emotional well-being, and your spiritual well-being. And that choice, if you take radical responsibility for what's going on, gives you the opportunity to have the most amazing life. Because when difficult things happen, you have the opportunity to react to that situation in a number of ways. Your choice. You can react to it and think, it's dreadful, it's happened to me, I'm a victim to this, poor me, why has it gone on? Or you can choose to think, yeah, this is a real tricky situation. What am I going to do about it? How can I make the best of this? What can I learn from that? And my work, and I've worked with so many people who, when that realization is that whether it's abuse, unkindness, physical difficulty, redundancy, a whole range of things, when those things have happened, that when they look back at those things over time, there's been an enormous gift in them. And you'll know from my story that for me, the gift of becoming a wheelchair user was creating a completely different approach to personal empowerment and empowering others, personal leadership, and leading others, which has been the bedrock of my work for over 30 years. You do have choice. It's up to you. And I would say to you, we are at the cusp of a whole new way of being. And you have a choice to sit and be fearful and moan and listen to what's going on and allow that to keep you playing small, or to use that as the fuel to help you move forward. After the break, we're going to talk to Nicola and get her perspective on things, and I'll share her bio immediately after the break. But don't go away, because she's got such insights. She's an amazing lady, and I'm really proud to see her as my friend. And I'm sure she's going to make you think and give you lots of value. So see you in a moment.
You have been listening to Gina Gardner on Leadership for Life. We'll be back after this quick break. Want to get the best out of life personally and professionally? Are you ready to step into a life which excites and fulfills you? Well, the right place for you is Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. We will share with you stories from inspiring people, a wide range of guest experts, and lots of practical strategies to help you get the very best out of your personal and professional life. Leadership for Life is a radio and TV show focused on helping you live a happier, more successful, and fulfilling life. Join international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer, Gina Gardner, live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Become the leader of your own life. Gina Gardner's #1 international best-selling book, Thriving Not Surviving, The 5 Secret Pathways to Happiness, Success, and Fulfillment, provides you with the foundational principles on which to become the best leader of your own life. It's available as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and as an audio from genuinely-u.com, or also from Amazon. Every one of the principles have been proven to work for the countless people who have used them, including the author. Now, let's put them to work for you. If you're ready to discover your true leadership life design, accelerate your journey with an invitation to join Gina for a Leadership for Life VIP Day. Choose your journey of self-discovery where Gina will help you navigate your way to happiness, success, and fulfillment. To find out more, email Gina at genuinely-u.com. Welcome back to Leadership for Life. Here is your host, Gina Gardner.
Hello there, and welcome back. And I'm so pleased to be able to introduce Nicola Farmer to you. She has such a rich history, and those of you that watch the show on a regular basis know I don't want to miss any of that, and so I'm going to read her bio. Nicola Farmer is a psychic, spirit, trance and healing medium, teacher of higher consciousness, spiritual teacher and mentor, speaker and course facilitator. She's a creator, a channeler, communicator for consciousness, ancient druid and light language, light coding and sound healing. She's a specialist in spiritual development with children. Nicola shares her knowledge and gifts in the UK and worldwide. Her passion drives her to assist humanity, carving paths through life towards the light for past, present, and future generations. She strives to support and navigate humankind along a path of learning and remembering, facilitating the cascade of changes needed to enable spiritual awakening, awareness, integration, and being. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Nicola Farmer. Well, Nicola's not with us. Hello, can I hear you? There she is. Hello, Nicola. Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
That's
Hi,
lovely.
Gina. Thank you for
Hi.
having me on your show.
It's an absolute pleasure. We've had some technical issues getting Nicola connected to the show for some reason today. So, but we're here now. Would you share a bit of your story, how you came to be all these things? Hello, Nicola. Can you hear me?
It goes back a long way, a number of years, Gina. Yes. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Yes, thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay. It goes back a number of years. It goes back a number of years when I was quite debilitated with chronic fatigue syndrome. And I started to awaken from the slumber, as I call it, knowing that there was more to life than being debilitated in such a way that you couldn't function normally. So I embarked on a journey of discovery, looking for ways to build my strength, build my energy, and I turned to yoga to start with. And from there, I started to have dreams, prophetic dreams, and various dreams with my sister who died when we were younger. And I then wanted to know more because it wasn't just my imagination. There was a lot going on that was giving me insight into being able to understand more about myself and then more about the functioning of humanity in a whole different way. So I found a teacher and I began to meditate, and I found ways to bring myself from the tiredness, the inability to function, into full functionality that then took me on a very fast and powerful spiritual journey.
That's brilliant. Now, you do all sorts of things. For those people who are listening who are perhaps not familiar with some of the roles that you undertake, perhaps you choose just one or two to share with us.
I can, because I mean there's a lot there, but if I start with the things I'm most passionate about, and that is mentoring people, teaching them about their own spirituality, about their abilities as a human being and as a spiritual being, and whether somebody's a computer or they're halfway along what they may perceive to be their journey, or even if they think that they're at the top of their tree, none of us can be in any way under the illusion that there's nothing else to learn. So I can teach people to meditate. I can teach them to understand how to work with their own energy. There's multiple things that I can do when mentoring and teaching people. My belief is that in order to understand humanity spiritually, you really need to understand yourself first.
I think that's so true. You talk about navigating life with the power of your soul. What do you mean?
Well, this year, compared to previous years, is going to be a year of navigating in so many different ways. Navigating life, navigating work, navigating humanity. There's so many different ways that we're going to be able to use that particular tool that all of us have in our box. But what I would love to bring to the world is the knowledge and the understanding. Then we are able to utilize the knowledge, the wisdom, and the power of our soul to enable the navigation of life to be so much easier.
Okay. Now, people who are listening to this may think, I'd like to do that. Can you give them some insight in terms of how they might do that?
Well, when we're born, We're born in the purest sense. We're born with the power of our light, the power of our soul. And we go through many years of learning on a human level, learning how to walk, how to feed ourselves, how to learn through the education systems around the world. But what we're not taught is how to work with the power of our soul so that we can work through life, not in a duality way, but in a unity way, just within ourselves. Because the soul has carried you through many lifetimes, depending on your beliefs. And that soul has so much wisdom stored in it, so many past life memories, that if we were able to tap in even the tiniest amount to the light of our soul, we would then be able to see past the illusion that maybe the world has created around you through your own learning, and utilize the power of that soul to enable you to become the wisdom that you were born with. You see, there's a very big difference between being wise spiritually and being educationally wise.
So could you define
But if
that?
you bring the two of them together, the educationally wise.
Well, for some people, I just want you to, before you go on to how you, when you bring them together, what can you define what you mean by the educationally wise and the spiritually wise?
Okay, yeah, of course I can, Gina. See, whether you are an academic or not, whether you have a degree or no exams to your name, if you think that you're clever or you're not clever, the educational wise person will be the person that utilizes what they know. They will be able to look at the smallest thing that they learned through life and be able to put it into practice one way or another. And even to the smallest thing of being able to speak. You learned how to use words when you were a small child, and you can use words in so many ways. How many people will write a text message because that's a non-verbal word and delete it and start again and start again? Because being educationally wise, being vocally wise, is knowing the words that need to be used for the person that needs to read or hear them. Now, we all have that ability, and we all have a choice whether we use the tools that we have, that we've learnt through life, being education of life, or we can choose not to use them. Now, if we look at being spiritually wise, that's the part of most human beings that hasn't been utilized to its full extent, because not many people know that they have this spiritual wisdom within them.
And you would,
when we look at,
sorry, there's a time delay. So when you were talking about bringing them together and I then interrupted you, sorry about that. There's a time lag between your speaking and hearing. So what happens when you're able to bring these two together?
effectively what you're doing is you're bringing your humanness and your spirit together into one being. Then what happens is you start to awaken to realizing that there's more to life than education, materialism. And in that awakening of your spirit, your soul, you then start to search for more and more things that will fulfill you in a very different way to what maybe shopping does, or drugs or alcohol. So we look at it from a whole different perspective, and we start to realize that somewhere deep within us, we have this ability to know things that we haven't been taught educationally or through life.
Yep.
So we awaken to knowing there's more to life, and we start this search, and it could be through reading a book, asking questions, buying a crystal, looking at angel cards. And that awakening process then takes us to a level where we then need to become aware, spiritually aware. And there's three components to being spiritually aware. And that is the ability to listen, to observe, and to use your intuition on all levels of your consciousness simultaneously. Now, that might frighten a lot of people off because that's quite a tall order. It's a big ask of people to be all three at the same time. But nobody's asking anybody to jump through hoops, especially ones that are on fire. So we take things one step at a time, and we work with what we may perceive to be either our observation skills or our listening skills that aren't quite as sharp as they could be. We don't actually have to worry about intuition because everybody has intuition. It's that gut feeling, it's that knowing, it's that part of you that is your inbuilt radar to know the difference between right and wrong, a truth or a lie. So when we then start to become aware, we look at how that awareness becomes integral to our everyday life. Because being educationally wise or aware and spiritually wise and aware shouldn't be separate. They should be integrated and be part of who we are.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because in terms of my own journey, to start with, I didn't always trust my intuition. That, you know, other people would say things or offer advice, and I would listen to them. But what I've learned over the years is that gut feeling. For me, when it's light and airy, it's right, and when it feels dense and heavy, it's not. Time after time after time, listening to my gut has turned out to be the very best thing.
Yeah.
And even very successful business people like Warren Buffett and Richard Branson actually talk quite openly about how they observe, they listen, they take on board the data that's offered to them, but they also tune into that inner wisdom, that intuition that tells them whether they've got enough information or whether it's the time to act. So it's really, really helpful. I'd like to talk to you about, you talk about holding the space of harmony and peace within you. And with everything that's going on around the world, I think many people are struggling to have any sense of harmony and peace. What do you think, what would you like to offer in the way of advice to people about how they can find that in all of this loud clamour of what's going on?
That's a huge subject, but it's very interesting you should ask, Gina, because most recently, at the end of last year, I was guided to put together what I've called spiritology diagram. And inner peace is something we're ultimately all aiming for, because the harmony and the peace within us can radiate from us and then become contagious, and it inspires others to know what the formula is for the inner peace that you feel or I feel or anybody else feels. And when I was given the information regarding this diagram, for anybody that knows of Maslow's diagram of hierarchy, it's based on a triangular diagram. But when I was guided to begin filling the information in with this diagram, we all know that everything needs strong foundations. Whether you're building a house or anything else, you've got to have these strong foundations. And I questioned the guidance that I was receiving with regard to the foundations, which I will share with you, because these are things I felt that we all had, but perhaps weren't acknowledging in order to find that harmony, that peace within us. And the foundations are actually based on the ability to have love and respect for self and others. And those two words, love and respect, go hand in hand. They're not something that can be separated. You can't have one without the other. Then the guidance followed, and there was a string of words that came that had to be written in a specific order in order for us to reach that ultimate way of being, where we talked about the spirit and the human being one, which we call unity. So within the foundations of love and respect, these were the words that were given to me. Now, the first level of foundation is trust. And that is quite a difficult concept for many people on the earth today, because there's been many experiences where there's been a lack of trust, or trust has been betrayed or broken. But trust is the fundamental foundation for reaching that point of unity within yourself. Then came the word acceptance. Now, that's another one that's difficult for people to understand, because if you are having today accepting that it's perfect or it's meant to be is a very hard concept for many human minds. But trust and acceptance were the first two words. Now, when we can trust and accept things for what they are, we then become something that's called centered. And that is like you have a rod of iron going through your body that actually holds you together. It's like a pivotal part of your humanness. You're centered. Now, then the next word was connected. And when we're centered, we feel this sense of connection, even if we don't know what we're connected to. It could be we feel connected to each other. We could feel connected to nature. But ultimately, we feel connected to our spirit, which is part of consciousness. Now, in that connectivity, then you will sense calm. A sense of calm will come through you, as if the rod of iron is then melting and sending out a vibration of this calmness through your body. When we reach that level of calmness, we then connect with another part of us, which is called our empathy. And of course, Gina, you know everything about empathy, and you understand where I'm coming from. But for those that don't, our empathy is the part of us that through the connectivity and the calmness gives us the opportunity to sense, see, feel and know everything that is going on around us. And some empaths find it really hard to function because they're hypersensitive to the things around them. We then engage with the empathy and feel the peace, that peace and harmony that is within everybody. And when we are connected to that peace, the ultimate level of foundations for spiritology is joy. Now, if we can go from trust to joy in one fell swoop, knowing that everything is within our capability and we have a choice, then wouldn't this world be a much better place?
I think it would, because I believe that every relationship that we have with other people is a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. So if you love and respect yourself, you trust yourself to do the right thing, then you're going to have a much better relationship with other people, aren't you? There's not going to be that separateness, that division, that hate. You're actually going to come together. This section is drawing to a close, and before we go, I want to give you the opportunity to let people know how can they find you. You know, what are the things that you've got on offer, and where will they find you?
Okay, thank you, Gina. Well, I have several websites. I'm not going to give you all of the website addresses because we'll be here for ages. But if you go to nicolafarmer.com, it's the portal site, it's the hub for all of my other websites. You can look for services on there, whether it be a reading or healing or mentoring. You can find the mentoring side, the Ascending Wisdom Academy, which is all the teachings that I do. And then also, because I specialize in work with children, you can find the ICU Academy website for children on there too. But everything is on there that you could possibly need or would like to choose from. So the world's your oyster.
Thank you. And we'll make sure that those are in the show notes. You know, Nicola offers such a wide range of opportunities. There's some amazing stuff on there. Please do go and have a look. So Nicola, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute joy. I know that quite recently that you have created some light cards. Do you want to just give very quickly an explanation of the light cards, and you can find those on the website?
Oh, certainly. Light code cards are a creation. They're like oracle cards, but each card has an individual vibration depending on what the subject is of the card. They're not something that you specifically read. They're an experience that you can have. Light language is a language of the stars, of the universe. And as I speak it and channel it, I was guided to create these cards. There's 52 cards in the deck, and you can use them in multiple ways. And when I launched them during the last lockdown in the UK, my whole delivery went within 6 weeks. And obviously I have more now, but they're beautiful cards, and the feedback on them has been remarkable.
Brilliant. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. I will talk about your choice for B1G1 after the break. So don't go away. After the break, we're coming back. But Nicola, thank you so much. It's such a lovely thing to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you.
You have been listening to Gina Gardner on Leadership for Life. We'll be back after this quick break. Want to get the best out of life personally and professionally? Are you ready to step into a life which excites and fulfills you? Well, the right place for you is Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. We will share with you stories from inspiring people, a wide range of guest experts, and lots of practical strategies to help you get the very best out of your personal and professional life. Leadership for Life is a radio and TV show focused on helping you live a happier, more successful, and fulfilling life. Join international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer, Gina Gardner, live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Become the leader of your own life. Gina Gardner's #1 international best-selling book, Thriving Not Surviving, The 5 Secret Pathways to Happiness, Success, and Fulfillment, provides you with the foundational principles on which to become the best leader of your own life. It's available as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and as an audio from genuinely-u.com, or also from Amazon. Every one of the principles have been proven to work for the countless people who have used them, including the author. Now, let's put them to work for you. If you're ready to discover your true leadership life design, accelerate your journey with an invitation to join Gina for Leadership for Life VIP Day. Choose your journey of self-discovery where Gina will help you navigate your way to happiness, success, and fulfillment. To find out more, email Gina at genuinely-u.com. Welcome back to Leadership for Life. Here is your host, Gina Gardner.
Hello there, and welcome back. I'm sorry that the sound quality was not the best there. There was this time lag. Nicola's in the UK, as I am, but there was a time lag there. So I hope you were able to bear with that, because what Nicola has to offer is so special. Now, last week I introduced to you the fact that we are proud members of B1G1, Give One, Buy One, Give One, which is a platform for businesses to make a positive difference by what they do. And from the beginning of this year, I've set up a scheme where every guest gets an opportunity to choose from 3 particular projects. And on their behalf, I and Genuinely You give a donation which will buy that service or that particular help for a project. Nicola chose, and I'll read it to you, that she chose a project that's working in the UK, providing 5, and we paid for 5 nutritious meals for children and young families living in the most deprived areas of Gloucestershire in the UK. Now, they don't only just offer the meals, but they also offer learning about nutrition, and they really encourage the children to be part of the preparation of their food, particularly looking at, eating vegetables and preparing those, and fruit. And so 5 of those meals will be funded because Nicola has been on the show. Now, as listeners, you too can get involved, because for every 100 listeners who listen to the live show or download and listen to one of the recordings, I'm going to do something each month. This month, for every 100 people who listen to the show, I will feed a child for a day. So a child will go to bed with full tummy rather than being hungry. So if we had 100,000 people watching the show, there would be 1,000 children who would be fed for that day. So I would encourage you, please listen to the show, share the show, get other people to download the show, and let's together make a positive difference. I'd like to spend the rest of this show talking about empaths. And it was interesting that Nicola brought up the word empathy and people being empathetic at the end of her interview. Many people are highly sensitive, and they may not actually put the word empath to it. But empath has become the word that we use for those people who are very sensitive to other people. Now, those who are in the spiritual sort of doing courses around spirituality and so on, will talk about their energy and being able to tune into other people's energy. But we all do it. There will be some people that you spend time with, and at the end of them, you feel like a limp rag. I call those energy vampires or energy hoovers. And there are other people that when you're in their company, everything feels possible and you feel great. Empaths, I believe, those who are highly sensitive, often have had a challenging start to life. They didn't feel they fitted in. And part of that was because that they're operating at a somewhat different level. I believe that empaths have got an incredibly important role to play as we move forward into the new era of consciousness, the new normal. And I work with a lot of empaths, and I'm friends with a lot of empaths. And I've noticed that there are a number of patterns that hold those empaths.
You have been listening to Gina Gardner on Leadership for Life. We'll be back after this quick break. Want to get the best out of life personally and professionally? Are you ready to step into a life which excites and fulfills you? Well, the right place for you is Leadership for Life with Gina Gardner on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. We will share with you stories from inspiring people, a wide range of guest experts, and lots of practical strategies to help you get the very best out of your personal and professional life. Leadership for Life is a radio and TV show focused on helping you live a happier, more successful, and fulfilling life. Join international best-selling author, motivational speaker, empowerment and transformational leadership coach and trainer, Gina Gardner, live every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Become the leader of your own life. Gina Gardner's #1 international best-selling book, Thriving Not Surviving, The 5 Secret Pathways to Happiness, Success, and Fulfillment, provides you with the foundational principles on which to become the best leader of your own life. It's available as an ebook, paperback, hardback, and as an audio from genuinely-u.com, or also from Amazon. Every one of the principles have been proven to work for the countless people who have used them, including the author. Now, let's put them to work for you. If you're ready to discover your true leadership life design, accelerate your journey with an invitation to join Gina for Leadership for Life VIP Day. Choose your journey of self-discovery where Gina will help you navigate your way to happiness, success, and fulfillment. To find out more, email Gina at genuinely-u.com. Welcome back to Leadership for Life. Here is your host, Gina Gardner.
Hello there. Apologies about that. We had a power cut and the internet went out. If you're an empath, if you're someone who has a really strong sense of purpose and that you would like to make a difference in the world, to get over past troubles, to get it out of your own way, then I'm suggesting that you buy Harness Your Power as an Empath. It's an intentional workbook that I've just created, which you can find on Amazon, or join me for a VIP empath intensive day. And you can find out more about that by simply emailing me. Now, I do apologize for all of the technical problems that we're having. It's been a very strange couple of weeks and technology has been a real pain. But ultimately, we can choose to moan about it or just get on with it. So if you're an empath, come and join me, buy the book. For all of you, it's so important that you become the leader in your own life. Take control of it. You can be the victim or the hero. You can choose whether or not to take full responsibility for who you are and what you do, or you can be a victim to other people's situations and circumstances and feel that you have no power. This program is all about stepping into your genuine power. It's about being the leader in your own life. So join me next week when I hope we'll have no technical gremlins. You can find me at genuinely-you.com or email me at gina@genuinely-you.com. Take care of yourself. Remember, become the leader in your own life.
You have been listening to The Leadership for Life with your host, Gina Gardner. Make sure you tune in to W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV next Thursday and every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for more Leadership for Life. If you missed any part of this episode or just want to hear or see it again, you can find the archive of the TV show on Talk 4 TV's YouTube channel and the podcast of The Leadership for Life on iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, and wherever you listen to your podcast.